What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We had another insane day in the markets as stocks were all over the place. We have some huge news with Russia and Ukraine, earnings, some Fed speeches later this week, and just some important things to know. So definitely stick with us today. We have information that you will not want to miss. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, there was a lot of bad information that came out today regarding Russia. And the first thing I want to hit on is that Russia orders their troops to actually go into Ukraine. And this is a big deal. We can see BBC put out a pretty big article that explains a lot of the inside details on like how how Russia is moving their troops around and different stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on with the rebels. And we can see there was actually a good image that I saw on Fox News today that I took a picture of. And we can see that you can kind of see the different areas that Russia is getting into. So this is the Russia territory over here on the right in the red. Ukraine is in the orange. And you can see how right here with the mixed color is kind of like where the tensions are at. And pretty much these two cities are pretty much held by some rebels right now. And Russia is actually starting to move their troops into this area, and they are taking it. And apparently they are also talking about going into this other tan region. So it's getting pretty hectic. These tensions are not going away anytime soon. And Biden actually had a speech today covering the whole thing. You guys can check it out on CNBC if you want to watch it. But he pretty much talked about sanctioning Russia and imposing different restrictions on them to kind of hurt their economy a little bit. You know, Russia is making the price of oil go crazy, which is helping them. And Biden's talking about potentially limiting how much money they can make, and also just putting sanction on them, just limiting different parts of their economy. So either way, the tensions are getting terrible. And you can see the market was all over the place today. Initially, we gapped down, then we flew all the way back up. Then we came right back down, retested that 426 support, and then just settled right in the middle to end the day, of course.
Yeah, it was a wild ride, Tom. Overall, the S&P 500 finished down around 1%, and we had some of the major market-moving stocks like Apple even finish in the red by almost 2%, and that's after the pop that it had at the end of the day. Microsoft was relatively flat, but all in all, there's still a lot of fear and uncertainty in the markets right now, and while the markets are all over the place, we have some of these commodities just booming to the upside, like GLD, SLV, and even, of course, oil, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, oil it's been all over the place. You know, like this morning, crude oil opened up, it ran all the way up to $95. And then at the end of the day, crude oil actually ended up down around $91.42. You would think it would just go straight up, but it's getting really volatile. It's having huge swings. We can see it swang over the weekend whenever futures opened up on Sunday night, all the way up to like $92 at the end of Monday. So it was just an insane move, and I cannot believe all the volatility that's going on. But Russia's definitely playing a key role. They're one of the biggest producers of oil in the world, and they're taking advantage of prices being high like this. Like I've seen a lot of analysts on different news companies saying that Russia's making a lot of money as these oil prices are high. So at least it's good for some of the oil companies. But whenever we even look at the companies like ZOM, they flew up this morning and then really tanked off in the middle of the day. They only ended up down 1%, but look at that intraday move.
Yeah, it's been crazy, Tom. So shifting over to a different point, I want to talk about Truth Social, which is Trump's social media app. The stock ticker for this is DWAC. This stock has been all over the place over the past couple months. When it first started out, it was trading for around $10, and then it ran all the way up to highs of 175 back in October of 2021. Since then, it went from 175 down to 40, and we can see this morning it just went parabolic and had highs of $138 per share. Overall, it closed around $93, so it did end up selling off, but I definitely wanted to mention it because I have been seeing a good amount of articles related to Truth Social, and there's definitely a lot of hype with it, just like the article you have pulled up.
Yeah, and the big thing that I saw, Mike, was that it was the top free available app on the App Store on Tuesday, which is pretty big. You know, I know it's out on the iOS App Store. It will be launching on the Google Play Store as well over the next few days or next couple of weeks. But it's pretty crazy to see it be the top free app available. I know a lot of people are trying to sign up for it, and I actually have it right here. We can see this is what the website looks like, truthsocial.com. You can sign up and join the wait list. I know I'm like number 200,000 or something like that, but either way, it seems like a pretty cool platform, and I just cannot wait to see what it actually looks like once we get on there. I heard it's kind of like Twitter where you can like send truths and then retruth different things. So it's definitely going to be interesting, but their stock was insane, Mike. Like to see a stock gap up that much in pre-market is insane. And like you mentioned, they had that insane movement when this stock first got the SPAC deal. So hopefully we continue to see some nice momentum. This one might be a pretty fun one to play though over the next few days.
You know it, Tom. And speaking of volatility, let's check out TeleDoc in after hours. They reported earnings and their stock is going crazy. So TeleDoc closed around $65 per share. After market close, they ran all the way up to highs of like just under 73, and then they fell all the way down to lows of 61, and now they're relatively flat. But Tom, what's going on with this earnings report?
Yeah, this is actually pretty insane, Mike. This earnings is very nice. Teledoc's fourth quarter revenue grew 45% year over year, but their full year revenue grew 86% year over year to $2.03 billion. And that's actually just, it's such an insane increase, Mike. I would have expected their stock to fly up in after hours, and we can see it did a little bit, but it pulled right back off to the downside. Their full year cash flows grew. Their guidance even went up a little bit. So it's just insane to see that their stock ended up going down like this. But, you know, earnings are always crazy. You can see they did come in with a negative EPS, but they still beat that estimate by quite a bit as well. So like we always say, Mike, earnings are really 50-50, and I'm sad to see this one down, but to see that full year revenue grow 86%, I think that's pretty telling.
Oh, yeah. It's been a tough market for stocks to rise, Tom. Like, even with DWAC, which is Trump's SPAC, you know, that thing was up over 38% this morning, and it gave back a ton of its gains. So I feel like any stock that has like upwards momentum, it's just been like really, really hard to see a full-on continuation lately.
Yeah, it has. And this volatility is just, it's kind of getting annoying at this point. You know, the SPY's been all over the place for a few months now. We can see on like the 1 year daily chart, we hit highs of like $480. Then recently we hit this resistance right around 458. We really failed to break out there. Now we're kind of straddling down here around 430 today at market close, and even 420 on like a longer term basis. So looking at the SPY, it's been all over the place over the past couple months. And ever since the beginning of this year, we've pretty much been going straight down, and it's not a good sign. The volatility is not going to go away anytime soon. And like you said, it's just hurting the growth for some of these companies. I really feel like the TeleDoc might have done a lot better today if we didn't have all this Russia news going on, and especially if we didn't see the market go crazy at the end of the day like we did.
True that. All right, Tom. So what other major earnings do we have for the rest of the week? Because I know that the market's been wild lately.
Yeah, we actually have a lot. So tomorrow before open, we have Lowe's, which is going to be pretty big. I know Home Depot reported this morning, and it didn't go the best. So hopefully Lowe's does a little bit better than them. After close tomorrow, though, we have the popular Fubo TV stock. I know Fubo, Fubo, has been pretty popular lately, along with Skills. Looks like eBay will be reporting tomorrow and after hours too. You know, they're in that online industry. But Thursday, we have Baba, Mike. I know that you said that one was probably your favorite one this week. And then Moderna is going to be reporting too. They've been a pretty insane vaccine stock. My favorite one is going to be Coinbase coming up. And also, we can't forget about Block, Mike. You know, Square just changed their name, and they're going to be reporting also on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday is going to be the biggest day, in my opinion. We have a lot of big companies reporting, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But, Tom, we also have a lot of events on Thursday, too. So what's the schedule looking like?
Yeah, lots of events. It looks like Thursday at 11:10 a.m. Eastern time, we have Bostic speaking with the Fed, and then Mester and Waller speaking after him later that day. You can see Waller speaking at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is going to be late at night. So that one might not be too important, but the first two are going to be pretty important to look at. Sometimes if these guys start talking about some stuff going on maybe with Russia. This could possibly also change some of the stuff going on with the Feds. We can see CNBC has an article that says that the Russia and Ukraine situation could pretty much complicate the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. So definitely be on the lookout for the Fed stuff. That's going to be huge. They've been talking about raising rates lately, and obviously that's been affecting the market a ton as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the big stuff coming out this week. Those GDP numbers are going to be pretty big Thursday too.
Sounds good. And then, so yeah, Tom, the market is all over the place. What levels do you have for the SPY?
The SPY has some pretty insane levels here, Mike. A lot of people were saying, hey, is the SPY finally going to close under 430 for the first time this year? And it actually did. I believe it closed at 429.57, just under it. So that was funny to see. But overall, the SPY triple bottom today at 426. This is a huge support down here at the bottom. I know a lot of people in Discord today were eyeing up this support, and it ended up bouncing right on it. So really good support level to look at for tomorrow is 426. If we break below this, I think SPY might start selling off in a big way. As far as resistance to the upside, 434 to 436 is going to be a huge level. We had tons of bounces there today around market open and in pre-market. So the SPY was in a bit of a range today, Mike, and I feel like it's going to break out with some good momentum one way or the other pretty soon.
Yeah, and I just want to cover the SPY a little bit more. Like you said, if we break below 426, that can be pretty bad. The next major support after 426 is around 420 for me at least. So right around 420 to like 421, and that was actually the low back on like January 24th.
Yeah, definitely. That was a pretty good low down there, and that was a big wick that extended down there. Let me kind of go on the 90-day 15 minutes and go back there just so we can see that wick, because it was pretty telling. So you can see, yeah, it came right down towards 420. I have a support level posted right there also. So yeah, if we break below 426, it's going to look pretty brutal, I think, in the short term. And hopefully we see some good momentum because it might make for some pretty good day trades, and it's setting up pretty well. You know, we have that awesome support to look at. So it might make for a pretty solid trade if we see it break below that with some good confirmations.
Sounds good. So Tom, do you have any final thoughts with just the market right now or just anything going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much stuff. You know, we did have some pretty crazy earnings tonight in after hours, Mike. And one of the big ones was Virgin Galactic. You know, I know a lot of people were looking at them, and we can see that SPCE has been going pretty crazy here in after hours. They did report some pretty good numbers. I saw that they're actually getting their commercial business going, which is nice. You know, I know that they announced that pricing at $450,000, and I think you can put a down payment of $150,000 to reserve a spot. So sounds really cool, Mike, and looks like the stock is doing pretty good in after hours. They did report a loss of 31 cents, but it came in under the estimate of a loss of 39 cents on that EPS.
Gotcha. All righty. So, Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Zoom to the upside.
Yeah, Zoom kind of double top today. Go ahead and make them break out above 130.75.
All right. With the next one, we have NVIDIA, but to the downside.
Yeah, poor NVIDIA here. Go ahead and make them break below 230. That's a pretty big support there.
And then with the last one, we have RCL also to the downside.
Yeah, Royal Caribbean, they also kind of double bottomed. Make them break below $82 even.
Sounds good. So we are watching RCL and NVIDIA for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. And we are watching Zoom for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above the level Tom listed. And I just want to say something really quickly. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We post brand new videos every single day, and we have some awesome updates that we're working on behind the scenes. So consider joining the channel. It's free. Just smash that subscribe button and let us know if you have any questions in the comments down below. Before we close out today's video, I want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, Gain Dreamer. Thank you so much, Gain Dreamer, for being a great member of the Stocked Up Discord. Tom and I really appreciate you. But all in all, guys, let us know what stocks you are watching in the comments down below. We are in a wild market right now, so hopefully the market pops up. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching.